Alrighty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Oh, it's mostly going to be gentlemen here. Let's begin here. Let's begin. Let's begin. Let's do this. That is right. We're talking about baby metal. Talking about is the old lineup better? Now, might look at that title and go, all right, it's like some clickbait stuff. What's going on here? Oh, this guy's just trying to fan flames, start a fire where there doesn't need one, start a fight where there doesn't need to be a fight. While that can be fun at times, that's not what is intended here at all. In fact, if anything, I want to just kind of explore why some people think this way, and some people do think this way. You just visit like a baby metal Facebook group, or just go on Reddit every now and then, on Twitter. You'll run into baby metal fans that echo that question there. Is the old lineup better? And they may frame it in a different way. You know what I'm talking about. They'll say like baby metal was better with Yui, and that's a fact. They'll be like baby metal's peak has passed. They'll bring up like stats of like Tokyo Dome from 2016. And I don't care to get into that measuring contest there. I don't care for that because that doesn't really need to be a thing. Like I guess to summarize what the stream's already going to be about before we get into it, really, the thick of it, it's more like, hey, you're a fan of the band, right? You're a fan of the group. Don't you want to see them succeed and do well? Not everything they do is going to be like the thing you like. Just with any band, right? Hey, any of you guys fans of Iron Maiden? Any of you guys fans of Metallica? Maybe you were once a fan of Metallica and don't really care for them anymore. Same thing with Iron Maiden. Judas Priest, for example. There's times where there's a band that you really like. You really, really like. They'll make some changes. Things happen. Okay. And maybe you move on or whatever. But like at the end of it all, as a fan, I want them to do well. And that's how I look at baby metal. That's how I look at them. Like I want them to do well. And I see that they are doing very well. They're doing fantastic from my perspective there. But I want to explore this. Why is it that some fans, and I still consider them to be fans. I mean, if you support the band, you buy the merchandise. You don't have to buy the merchandise. The bare minimum requirement to be a fan, in my opinion, is if you listen to them on the regular, okay? Not even on the regular, okay? There's some people, they're like casual fans. Like they'll go see a baby metal show, but they may not even listen to baby metal on the regular. They might listen to them every now and then, you know? There's people who do that. Like, from my experience, I know it's anecdotal. It's all going to be anecdotal here for the most part. And you could correct me there. Feel free to ask questions next time you go to a baby metal concert. But the one I went to in Houston, I was asking people, hey, what's your favorite baby metal song? They were there. They paid tickets to see baby metal. They weren't wearing the Death Clock shirt. They were wearing a baby metal shirt, but they couldn't really tell me what their favorite baby metal song was, or they couldn't even tell me the name of the song that was playing. They were just there though. So what is that? You know, that's like a casual fan or whatever. All right, we're gonna move past how you define a fan, all that stuff. We're just gonna move past that because some people are already not gonna really agree. Let's just say there's some people who claim to like baby metal, but they have this attitude, this stance that the old lineup is better, and that's it. And it's like, okay, let's look at that. Let's explore that for a little bit here. And I guess in the chat, feel free to throw in reasons if you think that way. Let me know reasons why you think the old lineup is better and the reasons for that in a respectful manner. I think we can be respectful here. I mean, we're gentlemen. We can be respectful. I hope so. Let's see. The original lineup was the original vision of the group. And I could already think of a few things to kind of counter that a little bit, but it wouldn't really work. Like the original lineup is the original vision. Now that vision, it wasn't all the way. I'll say even that vision with the original lineup had some growing to do. From like the very beginning with the Baby Bones to when the Kami band was introduced, there was some growing with that. But that original lineup was Su Metal, Yui Metal, Moa Metal. That was the embodiment of the unique fusion of J-pop idol culture and heavy metal. That's what it was. And it was a concept that was pioneered by Koba Metal. And this trio, they was the I would say the physical manifestation of the band's lore and mission, making their performances spectacular and authentic. The chemistry between the three performers there, I think that contributed to the group's initial charm and appeal. These girls, they were there from the very beginning. Okay. And you know, you can't really counter that. I mean, and as a Baby Metal fan, like that is respectful, that's understandable, that is something you can't take away, and no one, I don't think, would argue. Although actually, one could probably make an argument that maybe new fans, like fans that may not even really know about the lore of the band, and they may not necessarily really, not like they care, but they don't really seek it out. I'm talking about like the fans who don't live on the internet and just listen to like Baby Metal, Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta, because it was like trending #1 and all that stuff, right? They probably don't even know who Yui Metal is. They'll probably never know who Yui Metal is. But for the fans who like really know, like that is, it's like once you do explore that, once you do realize that, it's like that is something you can't take away. That is like the foundation of it, you know? Right? What do you guys say? What do you guys think of that? Exactly. I like what he said there in the chat. Let's see. What do you say? Detective Fujiwara. Moa is perfect for this era. Yui was perfect for that era. Absolutely. Absolutely there. Let's see. I have a shirt, but I mainly listen to them when it plays during the stream. Yeah. So Repo Bob. Molas says some fans can't accept that the band is growing as a new group. That's why. True. I mean, that's definitely part of it. I mean, you know, I watch a lot of the older performances, and I have to say, I do see that there is a unique charm to the original lineup, and it's different. I wouldn't say it's really better, but one can make that like, hey, you know, that was like the original lineup. That was the chemistry there is different, but like you clearly see with the modern version of Baby Metal, like with Momo Metal, that there is a chemistry there between Sue and Moa and Momo, and it's very fun. It's a very fun, entertaining energy that clearly manifests itself on stage during the live performances, and it is a lot of fun to watch. Now, you know, people that are fans of the old Baby Metal and say like the old style is better, the old formation is better. They may, when it comes to musical synergy, may say like the chemistry and coordination with the members is something spectacular, and they'll say like maybe the original members had, being that they have grown together from their time in Sakura Gaku and sharing a journey from the inception, being that like that because of that, the girls shared that a history that led to a unique musical and maybe performance synergy. Yeah, you can make that argument, but it's not like you don't see them have synergy currently, you know? That just gives like depth and lore, and that's nice. That's rich for people who like that stuff. I like that stuff. Some of you guys like that stuff, but it's not like the current lineup hasn't figured out how to, have chemistry and coordination. They clearly have. They clearly have. You would. It's like, have you seen their latest live performances? They're not just standing around doing nothing, and they're not clumsily walking into each other. Whatever. They're still very animated. They're still moving around quite a bit. So even that, and I'm trying to. By the way, if you really do think this way, and you think, you think that they had a better chemistry back then, I'd have to ask, like, okay, I understand that you really like the old era for that way, but I'm sure you could think of some positive things, some strengths that the new era has. I'm sure you could think of some if you're really put the task to that. What are some other areas that the people who say old Bay Metal is better? Fan connection? Nostalgia and identity? Oh. Baby Metal Black. Gonna lead to that. There are some fans that feel like they're like connected deeply, I think anyway, to the original formation. Not just for the music, but for the story. The narrative of these three talented girls from the same idol group breaking into the metal scene, that's a compelling story. That is fantastic advertising right there. Yui Metal's departure, it did leave a void that the fans felt. It did leave a void. And the reason why I left that void is because when Yui was there, what are some things that they did? Baby Metal Black is one of them. They had this whole thing of various songs that, like, there was a little bit of lore, a little bit of a story there. Oh, in these couple songs, these performances, it's just going to be Moa Metal and Yui Metal, and they're acting out. They're being bratty, They need to be disciplined. They got possessed by a dark spirit or whatever because of eating chocolate or whatever it was. It kind of seemed to change. But I think that story became more clear as they performed it. But anyway, that was unique. And they don't have something like that currently with the current lineup, at least yet. The way I look at that is like, well, with the current lineup, what you have is opportunity. You have Moa Metal, Momo Metal, and Sue Metal with really good chemistry and synergy there. They have opportunity to play around with stuff like that if they want to. And, I mean, we don't really know what the cards are in Koba Metal's in hand, so to speak, right? We don't know what he has in store. I mean, right now, it kind of seems like they're just kind of like playing the festival circuit, touring, and kind of help spread the name a little bit more, just a little bit more by the book. They have a radio show now, which is very nice. They've been doing a lot of collabs, kind of like spreading the name out there. And they're doing really good with that. A lot of work there. Spread really brand awareness, if you will. But it would be cool, and I think some fans would agree, if they ventured and kind of explored those interesting story concepts for like the live shows. But I wonder if your festival audience would even care about that, though. If they would even like, if they would even be concerned about it, What do y'all think about that so far? I accidentally pressed the button on my keyboard. We're still streaming, right? That's a good point there, what you mentioned. Let me read this here. Well, I'm glad I'm glad I moved this chat. I was gonna say Gringoton, Grington 300. You don't know what lore might come with the next album. That exactly right. We don't know. We absolutely do not know. And there might, and you know what? Very well, safe prediction could be that there is something in the works. You know, with Koba Metal, with Baby Metal, you never really know. Only the Fox God knows. Repo says, I do like the old lineup because of the song selection. I'm not a big fan of the constant collabs currently. There are a lot of collaborations. There have been some collaborations. With that, we did get some songs that have performed well on the charts. I know not everyone is a fan of Ratatatata, but you cannot. You can't. What I'm saying is, even though you may not like that song, the song charted pretty high on the Billboard Top 200 for a reason, and has been a favorite for a lot of people, a lot of fans. Maybe they're new fans, but they're fans nonetheless. Then there's Metali. I know I butchered how you pronounce that all the time, but that song did pretty well as well. But they have a whole album that they're working on. There's been stuff like images have been hinted, kind of teased out. Something's in the works. There's a new album going to drop soon, and it's going to really surprise us on what it has there. I am willing to bet on that as well. Are we asking for money? Yeah, you want to take bets on that? We'll take bets. No. But yeah, I mean the song selection. I look at what they have currently. They still play some songs from the old days as well. Though there's some songs I would like to hear them play. Like I would like to hear them play "Catch Me If You Can." That'd be fantastic. I've been waiting on that. I think "Gimme Chocolate" could take a pause and put on "Catch Me If You Can." I don't think they played the one yet, have they? But yeah, the Baby Metal Black was a big thing. Yeah, there was the push more than just lore with the old lineup. It's a whole thing to it, right? It's chapters of lore. It's a whole book of is something very different than what you get with the current lineup. While the current lineup has it has the Kami band and they're louder, there's much more of a metalcore presence there. They're heavier. They're heavier on the drums. There's a lot of techniques going on with on the guitar work when it comes to the Kami solo stuff. I'm not really interested in Kami East versus Kami West. That's where you could do like some real weird, like, okay, guys, what are we doing here? There's different styles going on here based on what you want to hear. But like if you want that thicker, kind of heavier sound, you get it from that one way. If you have more by the album sound, you get it another way. It's just different preferences. It's whatever. I mean, I just like it when the Kami band is there. To be honest, let me tell you this: if Baby Metal did not have the live band component, I probably would not be a fan. All right, at least not as much as I am. That's just the truth there. But we don't have to worry about that because that's not something that happened, right? What I'm saying is, like, you have the ingredients there that which you had in the old and which you have currently. It's just the differences are like everything they did back then. It seems self-contained. It's not anything that they have tried to really replicate, at least as of yet. There's not been a new Baby Metal Black, any sort of revival of that. While they bring back some old songs like Doki Doki Morning and Uki Uki Midnight, there's still a lot that they have yet to really bring back from the past. Obviously there's some fan favorites that they have there that they're going to keep in rotation, but so you look at the chat. Oh, okay. What? Someone was timed out for a second? Oh. Oh. Was the bot going crazy? Did Nightbot time you out? Wow. I don't even know why I have that. Why do I have that? Bots, man. Let's see. I guess performance dynamics. That's another area. The dynamic between Yui, Moa, and Sue. Look, it's unique in its own way, but part of it might be because of age as well. There is something more cool. Okay, there's something definitely much more kawaii about the early days performances that you just can't really replicate. Yes, Sue Metal and Moa Metal can bring out the kawaii element. Okay, but obviously when they were much more younger, the baby part of Baby Metal was much more noticeable. I mean, it's just a matter of fact. Like when they're younger, they're gonna have younger voices. It's just it. And like when they're running around on the stage and hyping up the crowd in that way, and when you watch those live shows and you hear those live performances, it's like, oh, okay, this is the magic that they're talking about. This is it. Okay. And it's like a different level to it. It's like the kawaii level back then was like to use a Spinal Tap reference, was at 11. It's cranked up all the way to 11. Whereas now it's more like probably like a 9. Okay? Maybe 8 or 9. Like they still have it. They could still do it. Like when they do Doki Doki Morning, stuff like that. Oh, man, they could do it. When Moa Metal works the crowd, when Momo Metal works the crowd, when Sue's like, hey, bring out your phones and stuff, it's nice, it's charming. Now, it's more like the band is older, but it's still charming, but it's not like, it's just a different level, really. And I suppose we could get stuck, in the mud and splitting hairs over what is that level. So we could just move on from that. It's just a different level. That's why some people would prefer the old. Okay, it's much more kawaii than I can accept that. I'm not going to argue that it is that. It's just a different level to it. Let's see. I guess cultural impact, is that another area that some people are maybe like the old more than new? I don't think so, right? Because I would say now they have a more cultural impact. Or would you argue with that? I think. Well, actually, I sit here corrected. Think about this. Baby Metal was, as we know anyway, like the first, and they're credited as being the first band, performance act, group to break these boundaries of like the idol and the metal together, and they introduced this whole concept to the world. By doing that, they introduced metal to new audiences. They introduced this whole kawaii idol thing, this infusion of pop to new audiences, and believe me, and we have seen this, the world has noticed. Like, I don't have any facts to back this up. I don't have any stats or anything like this. I'm just pulling this out on my rear end. It could be completely out of it, but I think performers like, let's say Poppy, even know who Poppy is, I don't know if she would have done the whole like pop metal thing if it wasn't for like Baby Metal having done it first. I say that, and I give myself an out there. I'm not 100% sure on that, because Poppy is kind of she's kind of quirky in her own right too. Kind of thinks outside the box at times. At least that's the way she presents herself. So maybe not. You can't really go back in time and change things to see how it would play out. But it seemed like, I definitely in the Japanese scene, you wouldn't have like these other acts that try to replicate it, duplicate it. You wouldn't have all that. So I think in some ways it really showed that, hey, you could have this pop infusion with the metal, and it actually works. You can introduce a poppy, sugary form of metal to hardcore metalheads, and while some of them will stand there and be defiant, be like, no, that's not metal. That's too cute to be metal. That's not metal. Those girls are just singing and dancing. That's not metal. They got to be angry and raging. That cutesy side, the poppy side, will melt those hearts, those hardened hearts. Okay, not all of them, but a lot of them. Let's see. See, I put it on my rear end, and Grington said that, hey, because I'm fairly sure Poppy said that she was part of BABYMETAL. She was supporting them back here. Well, look at that. I just put it on my butt. It just made sense to me. I say, did you see Momo collecting plushies that were thrown? Oh, yeah. I did see that. And that in itself is like, so when it comes to fan engagement, oh, man, there's a lot of fan engagement. Maybe too much. Maybe too much fan engagement. You think about it. If I was BABYMETAL, I'd be like, we might have a problem here. Everything's good right now, but it only takes one. It only takes one. The guy who shot Dimebag Darrell claimed to be a fan. Whoa, it only takes one. Now, he was a little bit off his rocker, obviously. But it only takes one whack job to ruin it for everyone. And problem is, you don't know when they creep up. You got to be careful of that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of fan engagement. And what I really like is how what I think I like about the current lineup, and maybe it's really not just the current lineup, but the current era of BABYMETAL. And it's more like, I think, the byproduct of just social media and the ease of access to, the live performances, like little snippets when you scroll on Facebook or on Twitter or X, and you see like the BABYMETAL girls catching the plushies, you see the interactions, and like you're like, oh, that's so rich, that's so good, that's great, that's glorious to see, that's fun to see. Now, one can argue that, hey, had those things existed when the original lineup was there, you probably would have seen that. And of course, it's not like this technology did not exist back then, but it seems much more like widely used. I think it seems more widely used for sure. So, and that's something. I mean, I don't know how people who are like more fans of like the old school BABYMETAL would wrestle with that one. I'm not sure about that. But I will say, like the old lineup, it does seem like it does define that era of BABYMETAL. It does. There is an older era. There's like it's like when you look at BABYMETAL, look at the old, look at the new or the current. Like there clearly is like this. There is a noticeable division between the two eras there. I see that. I don't know about you guys. I think the old formation was instrumental in defining what BABYMETAL represented to the music world. I think they broke boundaries, for sure. Like I said, they introduced metal to the world, to at least not to the world, to new audiences. created a genre known as kawaii metal. Yeah. I think their initial albums and tours set a precedent for later formations. And I think that it's they've shown themselves to be much more than a gimmick. And I put that in that way. I say it in that way because you know what I mean. You know, the haters will be like, oh, they're just a gimmick. But a gimmick isn't going to have like 4 albums and tour the world still, right? Like, and we could split hairs on what a gimmick means and all that, but we all know what they mean when they say a gimmick in that way. They mean just like a one-trick pony sort of thing. That's what they mean. They mean like it's just a flash in the pan and no one's going to care. You know, there's not any real essence or depth to it. But there is, in a way. There is. There's a whole lore to it. There's a whole history to it. And there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to like what the songs are, the dances and all that. There's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than when people give credit to. And I think like the thing that really stands out about the old era is that they had to really push against that a lot more than the present. The current lineup, they still get that challenge, the hurdle before them every now and then. But in the old days, what was it? What was the show? Was it Download Festival? Was it that one where they were essentially kind of smuggled in by Dragon Force? Was it that one? I forget the name, but I know the story. You know the story. They weren't supposed to be there, but they were there, which was actually very metal of Cobra Metal and the Baby Metal Girls. That is so punk as well, right? That is that attitude like, oh, you don't want us to be there? We're going to be there. They're Dragon Force. That was so cool. That stunt right there was awesome. Just like how the current lineup, the stunt of Baby Metal pushing through and continuing on a show when there's a freaking thunderstorm. When, you know, that happened recently. That happened last year. You know, they were told to get off the stage because like there was like the wind was too high. There was a thunderstorm and stuff. And they're like, no, we don't want to get off the stage. You know, and they leave, but they go back on, they continue, you know. Download 2015. Yeah, download 2015. That's right. So I think to summarize like the old lineup, like I guess the attitude about how the old lineup could be better. I suppose they look at it like while the new formation of Baby Metal continues to evolve and innovate, I think those that are stuck on the old formation may think that the old formation is celebrated for its role of pioneering the whole thing and the deep connection it forged with the fans and the irreplaceable chemistry among Sue and Yui and Moa, the nostalgia associated with the original lineup. I think you take that, couple with it, combine it with the contributions, both musically and culturally. I think it makes a strong case for why fans may consider the old formation to be better. But I don't really. I could see them make that argument, especially if they combine it with like, you know, the stats of the Tokyo Dome show and all that stuff. But having said that, when I want to ask is, I mean, the new lineup, the current lineup, it presents opportunity there, right? I mean, if Baby Metal was done and over, that's it. I mean, that would be the worst outcome. Like, I'm glad that they're still active and very active. And I'm glad that they're taking advantage of opportunities that are before them. They have a radio show now. Okay. And that is pretty cool. That is a neat little thing to have there that is obviously advertising in its own way. It's very cool. Yeah. Baby Metal kind of interviewing these different musicians and maybe it will grow and do other things. We have no idea. but it's very fun. It's a fun thing to do. It's a way for them, and they pull questions that are submitted to them. Now, it's only a handful of questions, but that's something new, something very cool. And it broadcasts baby metal and also along metal in other ways to other people who have not even heard of baby metal. So that's very, very cool for them. I would say actually, as far as like baby metal goes, I think now currently they would have much more reach than they did in the past. That's through the work with all the touring that they've been doing, the collaborations, the radio show, all of that there. Now, and we'll continue to see. For that you just have to wait and see and see what happens with all these shows. We also get creative directions, new creative directions that some people may like, may not like, but like with the addition of Momo Metal, baby metal has a chance to explore different musical territories. Let's see. With the other one, you had a different sound. It was a much more metalcore rich album, I would say, than the previous. But it also, it didn't seem like it was really written for Momo Metal. Like, so this new album that they're working on, I'm really curious about. I'm really looking forward to what happens with that. We have some collabs like Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta. Some people may not like that. Like I said, with the new direction there, is that a sign that they're going to be going more in that direction? I would ask, what direction? You mean more like electro disco metal stuff? I mean, they kind of had that with like Ine, they kind of had that sound there. That was more techno, and that was a very fun song. I love that song. That song's fun. Ine. That's a very fun song. I like that energy. I want to see more of that energy come back. I want more fast-paced techno beats in the songs. Let's have fun with that. Let's do that. But like if we did that, would you all be cool with that? Huh? That's the thing about baby metal. There's different little styles that they explore on any particular album. That it's like, what style would you like them to focus on more? Or just let them just do the whole mixed bag thing that they usually do, and see what happens. Let's see. What are some other things to say about the new lineup here? I was going to say that maybe the new lineup is better. I honestly really enjoy the energy that you get with Momo Metal, Moa Metal, and Su Metal. It is different from the old lineup, but you get clear. They're smiling. They're having fun. It's a fun experience. They're very engaging with the audience. Su and Mo seem very receptive of Momo. This is like even old news now. It's old news now. It's like we're rehashing this. We're revisiting this. It's like she's obviously a solidified member of the band now. Is she Yui? No, she's not even meant to replace Yui. It's not replacing. It's just evolving. It's a totally different chapter. It's just a different side here. I'd say, like, while the lineup changed, I think the heart of baby metal, I think it beats through with its music and the performances and the story it tells. The new formation is not meant to be a replacement, but it's an evolution. It's just like that. I mean, the original trio grew and changed, and the same thing's going to happen with baby metal. Now, they're not even little kids anymore. Some people ask, hey, should they still be called baby metal? And some people wonder, will Sue still do this when she's in her 30s? Well, how many years until Sue is in her 30s? Actually, how old is Sue Metal right now? Wait, hold on. How old is Su Metal right now? Momo growls. Yeah, that's a new thing. Now, of course, there's debates on whether or not she actually growls live, and there's been some footage that clearly looks like it's It's there's some performances where it looks like it could be live, some performances that it clearly looks like it's a backing track, but what we know is that she did do that there. She can do that. She does that. And it'd be cool if she did it more live, especially when you have other acts in Japan that do it just fine. They sing and growl all the time, like Hanabiya, Hanabiya, That's one thing I kind of wish they were more clear about. But that could be a topic for another stream of things that Baby Metal could do to enhance their metal image, if you will. If the metal image is concerned about authenticity. But honestly, if we were to do that argument, entertain that stream, like the music scene's kind of changing as a whole as far as authenticity goes. There's a lot more acts using backing tracks. I'm not going to be like, what, Wings of Pegasus, is that his name? I'd be like, analyzing the authenticity of stuff. Anyway, how 27. So guys, I'm pretty bad at math. So that means we have 3 more years till she's 30. Is Baby Metal going to quit in 3 years? Do we only have 3 more years of Baby Metal? I don't think so. I think what it could end up happening, and of course could be completely off and wrong here, okay? Maybe, only the Fox God knows, but replacing Sue would be a pretty big deal. All right? I think as they get older, the Baby Metal part of it is just kind of like a name. It's like, it's just a brand, It's like, yeah, it was this one thing, now it's this thing, and they still do the same songs and all that. It's just a different vibe, and it'll still continue. But as that happens, things are going to change, and there's going to be people who won't like the change or prefer the old stuff compared to the new stuff, and people be griping and complaining, be like, "Oh, Sue's getting too old for this," I mean, I'm very curious what will happen. And of course, only the Fox God knows when that happens. But yeah, as far as for those that are more of a fan of the old lineup, as far as when it comes to the idea of the new lineup and embracing it, it's look, the legacy lives on. Music, the dancing, the energy, that's all still part of Baby Metal. It's part of the Baby Metal's DNA. Sue Metal remains, and she carries the band forward, and the essence and the vision of the band is still there. And I think that we're gonna have new stories to tell with this with Baby Metal. Like when new members with Momo Metal there, and we're adding to the saga of the Metal Resistance saga, if you will. The Baby Metal story, and not rewriting it, but telling it. Now, of course, if Baby Metal releases an album where they just redo all the old stuff, then I'll sit here correct and be like, well, I guess we're just erasing history. We're just going over it again. But even then, I would probably be like, well, you have the old original version of these songs, and now you have the new version. I don't know what to tell you. I could see that really kind of pissing the fan base off. So that would probably be something that Koba Metal and Amuse probably should not do. Is just, re-record all the old stuff. Even though I could see how it probably sound pretty good. Like with newer technology, the modern recording. Because some of the old stuff, like the album versions, compared to the live performances, it does sound it sounds different. There's a different quality to it. When I was when I played the music video for Doki Doki Morning to my wife the other day, I honestly thought there was something wrong with my mixer, with my setup here. During it, you could see me react to it, and I'm like looking at stuff, making sure everything's set up right, because I'm like, it sounds very plastic. It sounds very dated, because it is. You know, when you listen to them when they play it live and they play Doki Doki Morning live, it sounds bigger, louder. It just sounds even better. Oh, New Lords, the multiverse. I like what he said there, man. In fact, let me get some more your guys' thoughts about all this. I know I've been doing a lot of talking, not a lot of reading in the chat, interacting with the chat here. I only got 4 likes here. This is not meant to be like this is not really meant to be starting a fight. It's not that. It's not that at all. Some people will see that and then think that's what's going on here. That is not. In fact, if anything, we're just talking about this in an effort of healing, if you will. Maybe take off the shades. It's something that's brought up time and time again in Facebook groups, Reddit groups, on Reddit. So I was like, okay, I'll talk about this one more time. I did hit up someone to see if they want to come on. I didn't get clarification. I get the clarification now. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, man. I don't even know if she's in the VC. Oh, I've been talking all this time. No. That was a one-man show. I wanted to entertain. I want to talk about this because I wanted to talk about BABYMETAL of the old and BABYMETAL of the new, and because I wanted to. Okay, if we explore why it is, why are some of the ideas why some fans would still be stuck on the old BABYMETAL and prefer that over the new. Talk about that. Be fair about it. All right, and be like, okay, I hear you out. It was original energy, original lineup. It's a different era. Yeah. I can't, that's like, I get you on that. All I could say in response to that is like, well, yeah, we have this new era now. And you're going to have new opportunities. A new story will be told through, these songs here. And really, I'm looking at the next album, really. The other one was fine for what it is, but one really written with BABYMETAL in mind. Yeah. Like I say, like really incorporate some sort of story or lore, kind of like what they did with BABYMETAL Black with Yui. Something like that, That would be very cool. Or something to really utilize BABYMETAL's strengths, like the part where she was like rapping and metally as she did the growl and stuff like that. Incorporate more of those components. That would be very interesting to do. So it's just a lot of opportunity, a lot of new, and I'd say you still want them to be successful, right? I mean, they are reaching more people now. Their latest songs have been charting pretty high. They're doing well. That's all I could really say in response to that. Your nostalgia is great. I love it too. The old school BABYMETAL is great as well. I love that. There is a lot of nostalgia there. Your nostalgia, your cheers, your stories, all that. They're the foundation upon which BABYMETAL was built. And I don't think KOBAMETAL is asking us to forget that. I think we are to respect that and to also love the new energy. And we're invited to that. And invited to see where the story goes. That's what it is. That's what it's about. All right. So, I understand that your hearts is still for the original formation. I think I think you could ask yourself, are you invited? Do you feel like you're invited to open your heart to a little bit more of Baby Metal? And I think you guys are. Even those who like don't like rat ta 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 ta, that don't like that, still will check out a new Baby Metal song when it comes out. So you're probably waiting for the next new official Baby Metal song, even though rat ta 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 was like a halfway. It was a half thing. I mean, Cobra Metal was definitely involved in that. There was a lot of involvement. Anyway, so on that side, I get you. I hear you on that. And I'm sure you do. You'll listen to it and hopefully with an open mind, open heart to like, what it is. Maybe they'll impress you. Maybe not. Only only the Fox God knows on that. And the Fox God already knows how you're gonna react. I guess is that how this works here? But yeah, I feel like it's a great journey. And I really enjoy talking about this band. Like I spent almost an hour talking about this by myself. Okay. And I'm a 42-year-old man talking about this band that started off with like cutesy Japanese girls dancing to like backing track. That's how they started, with backing track metal tracks. Okay. And I was looking at like my monitor over here, and I look at OBS talking about this. I'm like, but it is what it is there, I like it. I think it's great. What I can do, I'll see if she's still around. If she wants to hop on for a little bit. First off, let me see if she wants to chime in real fast. First off, let me do a live audio test real fast. Discord VC doesn't always like the software mixer that I use. So 1 second, we're just checking for any crackling. Crackling. Testing. Test. One, two. Okay, I think we're fine. There's a little bit of crackling, but I think it'll be fine. All right, 1 second. Oh, and I said it. I was going to get your guys' thoughts about this as well. I need to. I need to do that as well. I'll take a look at the comment section a little bit and get your guys' thoughts about it. That comment section. I mean the chat. My bad. Righty. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the chat here. Spirit Box is here too. I'm going to both. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic, man. Koba said the other one was not the fourth album. It was an in-between album. That makes sense. Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully she gets that bite. Hopefully she gets that. And live in the moment, we'll see if this works. Did not do any testing. All right.
Hello.
Okay. Well, I'm able to hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Fantastic. So I have Morgan Metal here on the line. She's been on the show before, on the stream before. She won the Baby Metal contest. She pretty much answered every question right. I really tried to trick her too. You did, like,
Yeah.
and I tried to find other contestants for you, but like, it was kind of a strange idea, and there was like no one willing to do it. I couldn't find anyone. It's like, and I was offering money too. I was offering money. I was
I
going to pay people.
know.
I was like, I had money on the line. And I was like, all right, let's do this contest. All you have to do is figure out what the Bay Metal songs are. It's a Bay Metal quiz. And there was no
Yeah.
contestants, only you. So I was like, well, we can't do that again because like you're gonna win again. I'm just gonna give you money, Morgan.
I know.
Make it too easy. It has to be a
I guess
contest.
sometimes they, yeah, I guess sometimes they don't know how to know these things.
Oh, it's not on you. It's hey, you put it out there. Sometimes you get a response, sometimes you don't. Maybe I'll do it. I'll do it again. But anyway, so I've been talking for like an hour or so, and I've been talking about how like okay, you have like the old school Baby Metal, which is like the Yui, Moa, Sue Metal era,
Yeah.
right? And then you have the new,
Yeah.
and there's still these fans that really prefer the old. And I'm like, okay. And I was going over why that probably is. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, I don't know. I heard like some Yui bros. I call her Yui bros. Excuse me. Yeah, like some fans on Facebook, like, oh, I miss Yui in this. I miss Yui that. I'm like, will you please shut up? She's not here anymore. Like I see like on Twitter a lot. Like she's not like like get over it and it'll be fine. But sometimes they don't.
Yeah. And you know what? That's kind of like how you kind of need to be anymore. Because I try to be very soft, gloved, or sugar coated about it, right? There's been videos I did where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, I understand. You is very important. Time to move on. But it is kind of time to move on. Like that era is like that era is done. Like Yu's not coming
Yeah,
back.
things
It's done. Right?
yeah, things are changing, so which is kind of better. So I know it's kind of sucks for them. So they have to make changes.
Yeah. And I know there's some that are stuck on like a conspiracy, but where is she? What's going on?
Yeah, I know. I looked on like everything on the info thinking, oh, she's sick.
Yeah.
But but I don't think she is. Maybe she injured her back.
Well, there was
So
a there was
that
a
worries me.
there was a time where she fell off, and there was the speculation about a back brace or her being sick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anymore now, it's kind of like, look, all that is a long time ago, and clearly, in fact, I think there was an interview with Koba. Correct me. It's the chat will correct me. The chat will correct me. Someone will definitely will. I think like the hesitance that we saw of because there was a time period between when Yui left and when Baby Metal got a new official third member. There was like this weird time. And I think that time was them trying to figure out, okay, is Yui going to be gone for good? Or what are we going to do here? They're trying to figure that out.
Right. And they announced it on their website saying that she's no longer with us or something like that. Hmm. So
Yeah.
I guess they gonna wait for another member. I don't know why they haven't said. So they're just like, oh, it's gonna be Sue and Moa for now. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone in the chat repo says that is a bad take, in my honest opinion. If you like a member and that member leaves, you could still miss him or her. Oh, we're not saying you can't miss them. We're not saying you can't miss them at all. That's not what we're saying. I understand you'd say, "Oh yeah, you miss them," but I think, and correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong here, Morgan. I think you mean like the ones who say like, oh, like kind of like you wish she was back, or like it would be better if she was back and stuff like that. Like to that.
Thought I thought so too, but I think I don't think she will
Yeah,
because
yeah, she's
maybe
not
they
coming back.
took a toll on her. Yeah, maybe it took a toll on her for some reason.
Yeah. So let me clarify that. Let me get some clarification. So Um, how do you feel, Morgan, about people who are like reminiscing about the Yui days?
I guess they're still on their minds. I guess they can't stop thinking about her. I just ignore it. You know, like they keep talking about Yui too much, and so sometimes the other new fans just telling them like stop complaining about her. You
Oh,
know.
I hear that. So like usually when I see those when they're talking about it, reminiscing, I'm like, well, that's not a conversation for me. I'm not really interested in that. I of course did a video about that before, but that's all I really needed to say on it. It's like I just see that as like a group of people kind of reminiscing on I guess old days with Yui.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, it's just some older people and they can't stop thinking about her. But some of the new ones, like, um, oh, no, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So what are some other? So yeah, I think it's the Yui thing. I think it really is. Maybe that. What are some other things you think that people kind of reminiscent about in the old days? Maybe like the common band East, or maybe the synergy between the original three,
Mm.
like maybe even the Baby Metal Black component.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a Black Baby Metal coming back, but I still no heard about that. I don't know if they're gonna continue to do a duo group.
Well, of course, the response there, only the Fox God knows, kind of suits this here. With now
Mm-hmm.
that you have Moa Metal and Momo Metal, it's like, well, what can they do together? What could you do? And if there's a will, there's a way. And if they want to do something creative, I say have at it. And you have a new chapter here. Um,
Um, what? Sorry, can you say that?
oh no, I was just saying, we have a new chapter here. So if there's a will, there's a way. So they could definitely do something. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It
Right.
probably be some. Who knows what they'll call it either. It's probably not going to be Black Baby Metal. They'll call it something else. And
Yeah.
actually,
No.
my other question, a real one thing I was thinking about earlier while talking about this is, do you do you think the fans would care? I mean, if they did like a new version of Baby Metal Black, do you think the fans would notice?
I hopefully hope so. If it's a surprise, then yes.
Prize, yeah,
Secretively, yes. They'll be like, oh, like, oh my god, they're back, and they're like, oh, making a new song, and then maybe wear new hoodies or something like that, or I don't know,
yeah. I mean, what would that even look like?
maybe something more sinister, and then they were gonna talk about dark stuff. I'm guessing maybe at their own new era, maybe.
Okay, something more sinister. So like, yeah, when Yui and Moa did it, it was kind of more cutesy. Like they're acting out, they're being brats. You know,
Yeah, I
like the
know.
the song about use your father as an ATM. Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. No, I'm not your ATM. Okay.
I know.
I don't.
Even though, yeah,
I don't.
I think I
Go ahead.
excuse me, anyways. I like Exist Anger more because it feels more dark and it gets really angry. Like I heard Sis Anger twice before live. It's so heavy, like I said. And it talks about like really anger issues and stuff. I
Yeah.
was hoping like it
And
would
then
be more sinister.
since they're older, it'd make more sense that like if Moa Metal and Momo Metal were to do something like that, if like they're gonna do like a duo unit for a little bit for some songs, that they could explore things like that. You know, I I don't I just like the whole like, oh, we're possessed now, we're cursed, and we're gonna act out. I'm not really
Right.
sure what that looks like with them being a little bit older.
Hmm. I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe like a Hanabi style or something.
maybe,
Or
maybe. Okay. Oh,
that's what I'm guessing.
Do you have any thoughts about like, or any way to make a sort of a compelling message for those who are like, I guess if you will, if you say stuck on the old Baby Metal ways, Baby Metal days, about like embracing like the new, like for those that are like,
Hmm.
follow me on that one.
I'm sorry. Can you continue?
Yeah. So like, so we talked about what you thought about like the old Baby Metal, at least people who are like stuck on that, like the old Baby Metal days, like they're reminiscing about Yui.
Right.
It seems like Yui.
I
Okay.
would, yeah, I would think they need to just stop it and move on. Like, just get over it and they will just start their own thing, Like,
Just
they
wait,
just need to start.
like what the fans start their own thing.
Like, I don't know, they just need to stop and, like, and start over and, like, start a new thing. Like, like, they just need to stop it and they're just trying to start new things in life.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, like,
Well,
they need to get over,
okay. No, I mean I
like,
was okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't think I've heard. Okay, now it seems a little bit more clear now. Well, okay, so they're fixated on Yui, right? They're kind of stuck on Yui, but
correct.
Yui was a important member to the group. Very
Right.
significant. Um, I think when we word it like, oh, it's time to move on, that it kind of sets it like, oh, but Momo just replaced her, and you got to deal with that. This is going to be the new Yui. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the new Yui, I would say it's more better, like of Momo style. I mean, she looks like a right fit for her.
Oh, okay. Wow. So wait, you would say that Momo Metal is better than Yui Metal?
I would guess so, because like the more older it gets, like to fit in the right age, like oh Yui's just like oh she looks like a cute baby, right? And then when they get grown up and they try to find the other member that is more mature adult, like oh that's perfect to pick a new member that fit in the right age in the right era. Like I can tell like the age difference.
Yeah. So you bring up things that are kind of hard to argue on this one because it's like, okay, there is an age difference. There's like a significant difference between the two eras there, and there's this gap of time between them. Is
Hmm.
Yui is okay? So Momo Metal being better than Yui Metal. It's like okay, well Yui like in I guess in what areas like I mean what makes her better?
I would think Momo would be better because I think she's trying to be more better with the fans, like engaging the audience really well.
Well,
Um,
I mean, did Yui
like
Metal not engage with the fans when she was? Did she not hype up the fans when they played
I
live?
I I think she did. I don't remember though when Yui did hyped up the fans. Like they enjoyed her. Uh, but I guess I guess when Momo joined, like everyone's like, "Oh yay, a new member," So they had to get used to her being hyped up.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I see it like when Yui was there, she played a significant role, and she definitely did hype up the fans when they played live. There's live performances that you could see that she was definitely very involved there, and it left an impact where there's this fan base of Yui Bros that still love her to this day, and
Yeah, they call him Yui Bros.
and there's
That's
a
funny.
reason for that because like I mean clearly she left an impact on some of the fans there, and they kind of wonder what happened to her and all that. I mean you don't get that. I don't think you get that without any sort of fan involvement. So she definitely did have fan involvement. She
It
almost
is.
became legendary. Um,
It is, and I bet she is. But now, like, I think why the Yui Bros started just because she's a legend doesn't mean anything. Now it's this whole started like commotion, all the spreading rumors and all that stuff,
Yeah, the
like
spreading
everywhere.
rumors. The spreading rumors is dumb,
I
and
agree.
the like respecting her for what she did in the past. That's cool. Yeah, and enjoying the past performances. That's cool too. But like spreading the rumors and all that. That's just hogwash, man.
I agree. It's gonna get all that Phantom toxic. It'll get worse if it keeps going and then
Yeah.
it just gets worse and worse, and the Phantom thing will break apart. You know.
And the thing you mentioned about Momo being better as far as like fan interaction goes, that's kind of hard to argue with. Is that since she's current with them, and they obviously
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot more like usage of social media, like clips of Twitter on Facebook of Momo interacting with the crowd, catching plushies, stuff like that. There's a lot more stuff
Oh
going
yeah.
on. It's almost like there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of variables here that are just it just almost seems very different. The
Right.
you know like I like how someone said it earlier in the chat in this chat. Yui was perfect for the past era, and Momo is perfect for the current era. And I think
Mm.
that's a good way to frame it.
Ah. Okay. Well, I would think why they keep throwing plushies to the girls for each tour. I guess they like cute stuff, what I'm guessing, and they like, oh, I want to keep it. Maybe just
Oh
to
yeah, of
give
course.
appreciation and more attention. So, like, okay, I thought I would do the same thing. Like, you know,
Yeah, of course. I
one of
mean,
my one of my fans, like, I talked to, she bought a plushie to give it to Moa. But unfortunately, they can't because the security guard said no, they can't do that. So like, I was at the House of Blues, so like, oh, I was hoping I'll give it to more. I'm like, yeah, me too. And so like, whenever she tried to do it and they said no, I'm like, ah.
yeah. Someone in the chat, hypnotic, said no one threw plushies at Yui. Well, no one threw plushies at them back in those days either. So yeah, that's why I said it's like very different. It's like a very different thing entirely. Um, but yeah, and the reason why they throw plushies on Morgan Metal is, well, I mean, it's cute. Yeah, like you said, it's a cute plushie thing to throw at them. It's something that they'll probably keep. Plushies are
I'm like,
notes.
yeah. It's like, let's say if I want to give someone a plushie, like I don't know what, let's say like for a favorite, like a Kuromi or my melody or whatever, maybe like Kuromi would be fit. It's like, okay, I'll just give her that. I'm like, yes, you know? No, I mean, too bad I can't, because I can't throw it, and then it will be a fatal mistake just to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how.
I mean,
Do they really keep everything they get? I mean,
I would think so. Maybe a whole collection of plushies on it
yeah,
back home.
but that's like a collection you throw in a pile. And what do you do with that
I know.
pile? That's what I mean. It's like it just becomes a pile, a mound of plushies that, like, okay, we have all this stuff. What do we do with it?
Like, oh, let's just keep in, like, let's say, like a whole rack of shelves of plushies in each whole room. Well, it's like whole Barbie collections, but a lots of plushies around the big shelf rack around the room,
Yeah.
all over the wall.
Yeah.
So it's like,
See.
oh, and they will show like, oh, this is my whole stack of plushies on the shelves. All the fans gave me all the tour.
Uh huh.
So no one threw plushies to you. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And
I feel bad.
yeah. And as a dad, I hear all that. I see that in my mind. I'm just looking at a potential mess. So
No, maybe just want to like how like I like my room neat when that's some plushies to make it nice and cute. Like I have like a Build-A-Bear was hanging on there. And now like the Valentine's Day gift was just I have no room to put it, so I just put the bear up there. So I just had to keep it nice and cutesy and neat, just to
Yeah.
make it more feminine. It's nothing overrated. So like, oh, this is my room. I just want to make sure it's clean and nice and neat. I just want it to look nice on my rack of shelves, make it more
Yeah.
of my
Yeah. Okay.
shrine.
Yeah, and
So yeah.
that's stuff that they probably could do with that, but that's like if they take it back with them, because like if they're touring like in the U.S., get a lot of plushies, they gotta take that on the
Yeah.
plane,
Oh yeah.
take that on the way back.
Excess
I don't know about that.
baggage or another
So,
plane to ship. It,
but so when we got to talk about the plushie thing because about like the difference of the fan interaction between Momo and Yui, and of course there's a lot of differences there. Like it seems like a different approach with the fans. Like the fans back then weren't even doing any of that. They weren't throwing plushies or even notes at them. It just wasn't happening.
no, I guess they have not because, like I said, I think fans don't know the band. No, they don't know the band well yet in the very beginning, so they get to know them for years and years.
Yeah,
So
maybe you think maybe what they got more comfortable with the band, and with to the point to where they'll just throw things at them like things to keep.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder about that. I also kind of wonder if like they just people are kind of losing like I guess their sense of boundaries. Like because I would never think of like throwing something at a at a band member for them to keep. Oh yeah, here's this. But like they're doing that more and it's like okay.
Yeah, they just want more attention, more love. Like, oh, I love you. Like, here's
Yeah.
my plushie to you. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I did not do that. I just brought my flag towel to show it to them. Like, hey, look at my towel. Like, you
So
know.
it really seems to be about the Yui component, huh? It's like there are changes even with like the Kami band East and West, but even that I don't see it being as big of a deal compared to like the Yui stuff. Oh, okay. Let me ask you about music direction. What about that area? Like,
Right.
do you see a difference? Um, well, let me ask you this way: how do you feel about the Babe Metal collabs?
Uh, I would think it getting better and better. Like,
Getting better and better.
yeah, the collabs are kind of interesting.
Okay.
Like, Like, I like Bake Off and Kingslayer and
Oh yeah, Kingslayer's cool.
Leave
Yeah,
It All Behind.
Leave It All
Yeah,
Behind is fine. Yeah, my wife liked that one too.
it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping for the Slaughter to Prevail will be good with them because I heard about
Oh,
them.
that has potentially could just go insane. That could so like these collabs are fun. I like them too. Um, it's
Oh
interesting
shoot,
to
my
see.
boyfriend's asking me something.
Oh,
Says, tell him about when we caught someone throwing. Oh yes, my boyfriend is asking me this question.
okay.
Wait,
What was he asking you?
he was asking. So basically, we were at the concert, just
Okay.
standing close to the stage when Baby Metal Death started, and
Yeah.
before the breakdown happened, and Sue doing like her yeah part, right, and then she ran, same thing, doing her own routine, and then all of a sudden, someone threw a water bottle on the floor, and so the Fox crew member realized like, oh, is she gonna trip? I'm like, no, she did not. Good thing that she did not overthink, oh, she's about to trip over the bottle.
Okay.
And so she was just pretending that nothing's gonna bad happen. And so I recorded it and caught it on camera. Like I
Okay.
capture it the moment. Yeah, I'm like, and then at the end of the show, he's like, "Did you see that water bottle was thrown out?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't paying attention." Like, cause I recorded, like, take a closer look. I'm like, okay, like, oh yeah, I see it. And so the Foxconn crew picked it up and threw it away, so she won't see like nothing's bad happen. So I'm like, oh, okay,
So someone
yeah,
threw a
I see
bottle of
the play now.
water at Sue at the band.
Yeah, so she says she did actually stepped on it, and we call it's a glass bottle. Oh yeah.
A
Thank
glass
goodness.
bottle
Yeah,
of
it is a
water?
glass bottle. Yeah. Oh my
A
god.
glass. I thought you even get in there. I thought you're not supposed to bring glass
I
bottles
don't know.
in the
People.
venue. Are we sure
I
it's
don't know.
glass? It
People
wasn't
are
just
so.
plastic? I don't even know how you get a
I
glass
do
bottle of
not.
water.
I don't.
I
I
don't even know
do
where you
not
buy that from.
know. I don't know. I don't know. People are so stupid. I didn't. I was not paying attention. I was making sure. We were just holding on. Like he's holding on to me during the whole show, like Spider-Man during the whole show, so I won't get like separated.
But you're gonna leave them
You know
for
that kind
were you gonna throw yourself on stage and like become one of Baby Metal?
Yeah, you can't bring glass into. Yeah, that's true, but they do anyways. I don't know what's going on. No, it must be from the bar. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is strange. Well, yeah. So yeah, but the collaborations. The reason I'm asking about that. That's something very new as far as like this new era of Baby Metal is concerned. Like back in the day, they didn't really. Well, they did. They did have a song that was written for them by Dragon Force. There was that.
Oh, Road Resistance, right?
Yeah. So it's not like they didn't have
Yeah,
any collaborations back in the day. And
I think
then
they did perform it. Way
yeah,
back
they played it
with
together once.
the bars only give red cups. No. When I was at the concert, they gave me small water bottles, like really tiny ones. Like each security guard gave passing out a bunch of water bottles,
But they were plastic
throwing their
bottles though,
hands.
right?
Yeah, but they're small. It's not like a big plastic bottle. And what's funny though, my boyfriend's like, "Water patrol, everyone!
Huh. Okay.
Water patrol!"
So yeah, that's so that goes to show you that like some of the things that the audience does when they throw out the band is probably not the best. You know, the whole thing there is like, okay, they should probably stop that. I know it's like it's cute when it's
I know.
plushies and notes, but when it's like objects that could, hurt, that's a problem.
I mean, flowers are okay, like good thing it was just
Well,
flowers.
what if they're
But
allergic to the flower? Morgan, what if
I
Sue's
don't
like allergic to
know.
dandelions, and next thing you know, she breaks out in hives and she falls, she starts swelling up. Okay, she's like,
Maybe
oh, that'd be
sunflower
horrible.
moa. Sunflower moa looks cute on her. I don't know who got these flowers from. Like it was her last show when she wore it and her hair accessories. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe she likes sunflowers. So I'm guessing.
maybe she does. But of
Oh,
course,
resistance.
we'll probably get that with the new era of Baby Metal, the current, because people are just throwing whatever. They'll throw roses and lilies and uh, they just throw whatever they can. I've seen people in the Baby Metal Reddit making dolls that are supposed to look like Sue Metal and Moa Metal. Have you seen those?
I saw on Twitter.
Yeah, they look it's like, okay, all right, they're making dolls out of them.
Right.
Where are we going with this?
Hmm.
Not any life-size dolls, right? What are we
Maybe,
doing?
or it's like not even like it looks like a Monster High doll, but like, oh, I can make it look like more. It looks like more, so I'll get like a Monster High doll that looks like
Yeah,
more or
yeah,
something like that.
for sure.
I'm like, yeah, I was like looking like, oh, look right, oh, you're right, look, that does look like more. I'm like, oh yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so Rington 300 says, "Oh, Road of Resistance was actually composed by Team Baby Metal. Herman and Sam did the guitar arrangements." Okay, so, all right, so it was more. I get you there. So that wouldn't really be like a collab, or it would maybe just be like a.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, how would you consider that kind of like a little collab? Like you have like a guest performer, writing part of the song there. What is that? But you get more of that now, more of the collaboration stuff now, and some people don't like it. But I don't know what to say about that, other than okay, well, you don't like those songs, but there's other songs that you do like, and they still perform those songs. So
Right.
sounds good to me. Sounds like you still get what you're looking for. and they have
Oh,
new material that they're working on, so you'll get even more.
hopefully. And then I was okay. So like the New Year Revolution just came out of the New Year's. The background reminds me of Metal First kind of thing, but it's red. So I'm guessing it will be a new album. Hopefully
Yeah,
I was
that's what I was thinking
correct.
too.
So
Yeah, I saw that image. I was thinking a new album, um, because they did this stuff with the other one, or with Metalverse as well. Which I haven't heard anything about Metalverse in a while, so I don't know what's going on with that.
well, I figure it has to do that she's in school and then gets out in the summer, so maybe they will continue.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay,
guessing. Because I think Miki or Miko, sorry, excuse me, yeah. The lead singer, I think she's still in school and she will graduate. So I think she's like too early for sure.
okay,
So I'm
okay.
sure she will get out and then, oh, let's just start a new album and hopefully, yeah, and
Right.
then do all this. So
Okay.
I guess maybe she's not out of school.
Yeah, that could be. We'll see what happens in the summer. So like, it was good
Yeah.
talk with you about us, like what your feelings are about the old Baby Metal versus the new Baby Metal. It's not versus is not really the way I should really frame it, but so we talked. I think we talked a lot more about Yui, that being the big difference there. And I think, like I
Right.
said, I think that someone in the chat really framed it perfectly. And we're going to end it on that note that, like, for those that like prefer like the old Baby Metal, I get you, man. Yui was significant. Yui was very important. And it was a different vibe back
Mhm.
then. It was a different energy. They were much more kawaii in a way because they were kids, like literal kids. And it's
Oh
different.
yeah,
It's different now.
definitely.
There's a difference there. So like that is good for that era. Yui's perfect for that era of Baby Metal, and then you have this new era with Momo Metal, and it's a different thing. There's different opportunities going on. They're much more mature now. They have other opportunities coming their way, which they're using. You know, so
Hmm.
in that way, I think Momo Metal is perfect for them currently.
I agree.
So
I agree.
yeah, and this whole stream wasn't meant to be like a pissing match about which one's better. It's really
No.
meant more about, okay, there's good things that happened back in the day, and it's cool to talk about it. But
Right.
it's also like they're still going, and they're still going, and they're still doing cool things, and which you could celebrate that as
they
well.
they're nonstop. I mean,
Yeah,
oh well, they can't do anything about it. So just they're not gonna stop, anyways.
right, right. All right. Well, with that said, you guys let me know what you guys thought about this, and have a good one.
Yeah. Mm. Should I hang up?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can wrap up now. You can wrap up.
All right.